My husband had twins with my own best friend. I quietly signed the divorce papers. When he returned to his parents' house, his mom turned pale and asked, "She still hasn't told you about that?" The papers were still warm from the printer when my husband, Travis, sent me a picture of the babies, a boy in a white knit cap, a girl with one fist tucked under her chin. Between them sat Beatrice, my best friend since college, smiling from a hospital bed as if she had not spent the last year helping my husband erase me from my own life. Under the photo, Travis wrote, "They are perfect. Please do not make this harder than it has to be." I looked across the conference table at my attorney. Then I signed the final page, not because I forgave him or believed the story they told both families, that I had chosen work over marriage and motherhood. I signed because the divorce was the smallest problem in the room. The larger problem was folded inside a blue envelope in my purse. 2 days earlier, the fertility center where Travis and I had stored embryos after my surgery thanked me for authorizing a transfer to another patient. I had authorized nothing. I read the sentence until the paper softened. The clinic said my electronic signature had approved the release and my identity had been verified. I had not logged in, signed, or approved anything. 9 months earlier, Beatrice had told me she was taking a break from dating because she needed to find herself. 9 months earlier, Travis had started sleeping in the guest room and telling me that my grief made the house feel heavy. 9 months earlier, the brass key to our home office disappeared from my ring for one weekend, then reappeared in the kitchen junk drawer. That office held my passport, medical files, tax records, and the old tablet I used for clinic appointments. I signed the divorce papers, capped the pen, and slid them toward my attorney. "File them today," I said. She studied my face. "And the embryo release? Do not mention it yet." Travis believed silence meant surrender. Beatrice believed softness meant stupidity. I needed both of them comfortable. By evening, Travis had changed the townhouse code and placed my clothes outside the garage. He watched through the glass door while I loaded them into my car. "You can stay at a hotel until the settlement clears," he said. "Beatrice and the babies need calm." I held up the brass key that had once opened the office. "This is still my house until the decree is entered." His mouth tightened. "Do not start acting technical now." Beatrice appeared behind him wearing my gray cardigan, rocking the baby girl and giving me the tender expression she used whenever she wanted witnesses to see her as the kind one. "We never wanted to hurt you," she said, "but some women are meant to build a family and some are meant to build a resume." That line stayed with me longer than I wanted it to. I could have shouted. I could have shown them the blue envelope right there. Instead, I slipped the brass key into my pocket, picked up the last bag, and left. The next morning, the family chat filled with twin pictures and prayers. Beatrice's mother wrote that miracles arrived when people stopped forcing the wrong life. Then Chloe, Travis's mother, sent me a private message. "Please call me before they come to the estate." I did not answer. Chloe had spent years praising Beatrice as warm and traditional while treating my work like a flaw. Whatever she wanted, I was not ready to hear it. 3 days later, Beatrice brought the twins to the quarterly luncheon for the Montgomery Heritage Trust, which owned several historic coastal inns. She was not married to Travis, yet the room rearranged itself around them. Board members stood, relatives cried, and staff hovered around the babies, eager to be useful. I was there because I still served as the trust's outside compliance director. Travis had asked his mother to remove me, but the board had delayed the vote until the divorce became final. Beatrice stopped beside my chair. "Oh," she said, loud enough for the nearest tables to hear. "I did not realize former spouses were still invited to family meetings." Travis smiled without looking at me. "Mara is here in a professional capacity. For now." A few people stared at their plates. Beatrice set a blue leather diaper bag beside me. The zipper was open, and beneath a bottle I saw a clinic envelope with the same Silver Tree logo as mine. The same blue, the same Silver Tree logo. She noticed where I was looking and pulled the bag closer. "What?" she asked. "Nothing." Her smile returned, but it took effort. During lunch, Travis announced that the twins qualified him to seek early voting rights under his grandfather's descendant clause. A direct biological descendant allowed the parent to petition for extra shares in the family properties. That was the first time I understood why everything had happened so quickly. The affair had been personal. The pregnancy had been strategic. Travis's company was drowning in debt. He needed the trust's assets before lenders learned how bad it was. Beatrice wanted the name, the house, and the life she had watched me build. The babies were not only their new family, they were leverage. After lunch, Travis cornered me near the service hallway. He handed me a folder confirming I had no claim over stored genetic material or children conceived during the marriage. I opened it. The document was dated 8 months earlier. My name had already been typed beneath a blank signature line. "Why is it backdated?" I asked. "It is routine." "Then your lawyer can explain it to mine." His pleasant expression vanished. "You always do this. You turn every human situation into an investigation. Human situations usually do not need backdated waivers." Beatrice stepped into the hallway behind him. She spoke gently, but her eyes stayed hard. "Mara, the children are here. Whatever you think you saw, let it go. You did not want this life when it was offered to you." I folded the document and returned it to Travis. "I wanted the truth." He leaned closer. "You waited too long. Now someone else is holding the life you kept postponing." I walked away before my face gave them anything. That afternoon, I finally called Chloe. She did not greet me. She asked, "Did you ever sign away your embryos?" I sat down on the edge of my hotel bed. "No." Her breathing changed. "Then we have a serious problem." Chloe said Beatrice had visited months earlier asking whether fertility treatment children counted as biological descendants, and whether a gestational carrier could become the legal mother without the genetic mother's approval. Chloe had assumed Beatrice was researching donor options because she had privately admitted years ago that surgery had left her unable to produce viable eggs. "Travis knows she cannot use her own eggs," Chloe said. "He told me they used an anonymous donor." My fingers closed around the blue envelope. She did not use an anonymous donor. I told Chloe enough to make her stop talking, then asked her to say nothing until I knew who had signed for the embryos. The clinic's compliance officer called the next day. Her name was Elena, and she sounded tired before we even began. Elena confirmed the transfer had come through my portal with the correct password, my license, and a video check by a masked woman. The clinic had approved it. But Elena had found 2 problems. First, the authorization came from an internet address registered to the Montgomery estate, not my townhouse. Second, the notary stamp on the consent belonged to a notary who had retired before the document date. "We are preserving every record," Elena said. "I cannot promise an outcome yet." "Was there security video?" A pause. "There may be." That was not proof. Not yet, but it was enough to make my hands stop shaking. I hired a reproductive law attorney, a digital specialist, and a clinic auditor. By day, I attended trust meetings. At night, I built a timeline from receipts and calendar entries. The brass office key sat beside the blue envelope. Every few days, Travis sent another cleanup paper trying to erase a different right. Genetic claims, medical access, parental standing, trust status. I returned none of them. Because of that, he changed tactics. At a church fundraiser, Travis told donors I had become unstable after the twins were born. Beatrice lowered her eyes and said she hoped I would heal. Then she reached into her diaper bag and handed me a sealed invitation. It was for the twins' naming ceremony at the Montgomery estate. Across the bottom, in gold script, it read, "Celebrating the children who restored our family." I laughed once, but nothing about it was funny. Beatrice touched my arm. "You should come. It might help you accept that this chapter is closed." Right there, surrounded by women who had known me for years, I wanted to ask whether I was wrong for feeling something break inside me. If you think I was not wrong to feel humiliated, please leave a like so I know I am not imagining how cruel that moment was. And if you think I should have confronted her then, tell me in the comments, because walking away took everything I had. I placed the invitation inside my purse beside the blue envelope. "I will be there," I said. Beatrice's face brightened. She thought she had won another audience member. What she did not know was that the clinic auditor had called me that morning. A backup server contained the raw video from the identity check. The woman on the screen was Beatrice. She wore my glasses, held my license beside her face, and answered security questions taken from the emergency folder in our office. Before the recording ended, Travis whispered off camera, "Tilt the card down, B. The glare is covering Mara's birthday." The voice belonged to Travis. My attorney obtained an emergency order freezing the embryo records and blocking new parental filings until the transfer was reviewed. Still, we waited. The video proved impersonation, but we still needed the chain of custody file, the trust petition, and their communications. The next crack came from someone neither of them had considered important. A young trust assistant named Julian noticed that the fertility letter called Beatrice the gestational patient but hid the genetic source. Travis ordered him to replace the original page before the board meeting. Julian kept the first page because he needed its document number after a printer jam. On the bottom, beneath the clinic barcode, were 4 words. Embryos owned by Mara Ellis. Chloe delivered the page to my attorney in a grocery bag and would not meet my eyes. I owe you more than an apology, she said. Yes, I answered. She flinched, but she nodded. For years, Chloe had praised Beatrice's casseroles while ignoring who kept Travis's company alive. Now her son's scheme threatened the trust, the clinic, and 2 babies. She wanted to fix it quietly. I refused. Quiet is how they got this far, I said. The records go to the board council, the court, and the clinic regulator. No private family solution. Chloe pressed both hands against the grocery bag. If this becomes public, the twins will carry it forever. The twins already carry it. They just cannot speak yet. That ended the argument. The naming ceremony and the trust vote were set for the same morning. Travis planned to present the twins, receive the family blessing, then collect his new shares in the library. He believed sentiment would do the work before anyone examined the paperwork. Relatives, donors, and board members filled the estate. Beatrice carried the girl, while Travis held the boy and accepted congratulations like an award. I arrived alone with the brass key in my coat pocket and the blue envelope inside a slim black folder. No dramatic entrance, no speech prepared. My attorneys were already in the library with the trust council, the clinic's compliance officer, and a court-appointed guardian representing the twins. That was the room that mattered. Outside, Beatrice saw me and smiled. You came, she said. I said I would. She glanced at my folder. Please do not bring business into today. Today is business. Her smile slipped. Before she could answer, Chloe stepped out of the house. She looked at the twins, then at Travis. Color drained from her face. He shifted the baby boy higher against his shoulder. Mom, what is wrong? Chloe stared at Beatrice. She still has not told you about that? Travis followed her gaze to the blue clinic envelope visible inside my folder. For the first time, he looked afraid. Beatrice recovered faster. Chloe is confused. She has been under stress. No, Chloe said. I was confused when I believed you used an anonymous donor. I am not confused anymore. Guests began listening. When Beatrice stepped toward the garden, the court-appointed guardian blocked her and asked both parents to bring the twins inside. Travis turned on me. What did you do? I read what you signed. I signed nothing illegal. The lie came too quickly. The library held the family board, trust council, clinic compliance officer, and my attorneys. A monitor showed Beatrice holding my license beside her face. Travis stopped walking. Beatrice whispered, "Do not say anything." Trust council closed the doors. Trust council said the share petition was suspended for false statements, and a court order had frozen any change to the twins' parentage. Then Elena from the clinic played the identity video. On screen, Beatrice wore my glasses and answered questions about my childhood street, first pet, and father's hospital. Nobody shouted. That made it worse. The board watched the woman they had welcomed as a mother recite details she knew only because I had trusted her. She knew those answers because I had trusted her with my life. When the video ended, Travis cleared his throat. This was Mara's idea originally, he said. She agreed to donate the embryos, then changed her mind after the transfer because she was jealous. My attorney placed the original clinic agreement on the table. It required my in-person signature before any transfer. The signature line was blank. Then Julian, the office assistant, handed over the discarded trust page showing that the embryos were registered in my name. Still, Beatrice tried to smile. Mara never wanted children, she said. She told me that dozens of times. I opened the blue envelope and removed the last document. It was not a medical record. It was a transcript from the clinic's archived scheduling line. Beatrice had called the clinic from Travis's office before the transfer. She thought she was speaking privately, but the scheduling line recorded every call. Her voice filled the library. If Mara learns the embryos were used, can she claim the babies later? The coordinator answered that no transfer could occur without my consent. Beatrice lowered her voice. Her husband can make the authorization look real. We only need the twins born before the trust vote. After that, he will control the properties, and Mara will not have the money to fight. A second voice entered the call. Travis, ask whether the carrier can be listed as the mother immediately. I do not want Mara's name anywhere near the birth certificates. The recording ended. Chloe sat down as if her knees had stopped working. Travis looked around the table, searching for someone willing to rescue him. His father removed his glasses and set them beside the trust binder. You used children to raid this family, he said. Travis pointed at me. She is doing the same thing. She wants the shares. I filed a written refusal of every share connected to the twins. I said. They will remain in a protected trust until a court decides what is best for them. That was the final twist he had not prepared for. He had built his defense around greed because greed was the only motive he understood. The board removed Travis from management and froze his access to family accounts, properties, and staff. His father demanded the estate keys. When he refused, the property manager changed it while we were still in the library. Beatrice tried to leave with the twins, but the guardian said they would remain with a licensed caregiver until the emergency hearing. Beatrice's sweetness disappeared. She turned toward me with tears on her face and said, "You are taking babies from the only mother they know." I looked at the blue envelope between us. "You took them before they had a chance to know me." For once, she had no answer. The next months brought hearings, home studies, and interviews that forced me to repeat private pain to strangers. The clinic entered federal oversight. The old notary admitted Travis had bought her retired stamp, and the brass key opened the desk holding copies of my documents. Travis admitted he wanted the trust shares as collateral. Beatrice said he promised marriage, the cottage, and a percentage of the ins. They blamed each other until their stories matched the evidence. The divorce became final without a fight. Their wedding never happened. Beatrice moved away after her family refused to house her. Travis rented a room above an auto shop when his parents cut him off, and his company closed before winter. Chloe apologized to me in the courthouse hallway. Not beautifully. Not with a speech. She said, "I made it easy for him to believe you were replaceable." I answered, "Yes, you did." Then we walked into the hearing. The judge recognized me as the twins' genetic and legal mother, because no valid consent had transferred my rights. Beatrice received no parental status. Travis was limited to supervised visits while his fraud case continued. I did not celebrate in the courtroom. The babies were not trophies, and winning them did not erase what had happened. Their first night with me, the boy needed the hallway light. The girl gripped my finger until it went numb. I sat between their cribs until sunrise, listening to two small breaths from a life designed to exclude me. Some days I felt joy. Other days I felt grief so sharp that I had to stand in the pantry and breathe into a dish towel. I loved them, but love did not make the story pretty. It made the truth worth carrying. A year later, I returned to the estate only because Chloe requested a supervised visit with the twins. We met in the garden, far from the library. Travis was barred from the property. Beatrice sent letters through her attorney, and I returned everyone unopened. Chloe knelt beside the stroller and offered the baby girl a wooden bird carved by her grandfather. The boy reached for the chain around my neck. Hanging from it was the old brass office key. Chloe noticed. "You kept it," she said. I changed what it opens. At home, the key opened a cedar box in the twins' room containing the clinic records, the judge's order, and the blue envelope. One day, they would deserve the truth in words they could understand. That evening, after the visit, I placed the wooden bird on the nursery shelf. The twins were asleep, one crib on each side of the window. I locked the cedar box, slipped the brass key back around my neck, and turned off the hallway light. For the first time, neither child woke up.